Section 1 of Carulli's Waltz in E minor, we've mostly covered in the preparatory exercises. Let me just play through the section slowly and show you we really have one thing we haven't covered, and that is the ending chord, where we just play it's an E minor chord. We put our second finger down on the 4th string, 2nd fret, and the rest of the strings, G, B, and E, are just open. We play just that. So here we go from the beginning, 1 and 2 and 3 and measure 2, measure 3, measure 4, and measure 5 and measure 6 are just like measures 1 and 2. And then measure 7 is just like the 3rd measure. And then we play that E minor chord to end in measure 8. Now there's one little technical thing to point out here before we get into a few musical ideas. And that is, if we play measures 7 and measures 8, where we are going to end on the E minor chord, we just have to make sure that we cross strings with our hand. So we're going to have to move from M and I on the top 2 strings over to putting them on the 2nd and 3rd strings and getting the ring finger, the A finger, in place to play the top note of the final chord. So here's measures 7 and measures 8. I'll pause so you can see what we're talking about. And that chord is only 2 beats long. So on beat 3, you need to cut it off. 1, 2, 3. And if you've never cut off chords before, I like to do it with this part of my hand. It's a nice looking gesture. And it also you can cover all strings at once. So not only the strings that are ringing, but any sympathetically vibrating or overtones you might be getting, it's all shut out. Now you have to be a little careful. We're not playing Brazilian guitar style here, so it's not like we don't want that. Just an elegant way to end the phrase. Now, musical ideas are, we've got this melody that's happening. Now, in the first 2 measures in this figure, we have the E. Every time it happens, it's melody note. And it happens on beats 1 and 3. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. I tend to think of it as a little crescendo. Setting us up for the action that follows in measures 3 and 4, which has lots of dissonances. Now in these 2 measures, what's interesting is that the G and the F sharp alternate back and forth between being tensions and resolutions. So when you're playing this chord with the D sharp here and the 3rd finger on the F sharp, that sounds stable, but you throw in a G and it doesn't sound stable. It's very tense, so you'd emphasize that. Now, when you shift chords and you have the E in the bass in measure 4 and you have the G on top, now the G is the stable note. Technically, we're part of an E minor chord. And when we play the F sharp, now that's the unstable note or the tension, so you'd want to emphasize that. So if you play those 2 measures without any talking, just letting the tensions be emphasized, it sounds like this. And I'll keep going so you can hear how it resolves back to that opening E minor chord that we play. So as you play, and once you get comfortable with playing the notes and the finger movements, etc., once you're comfortable enough to be able to add another level of thinking into your playing, that's what I suggest you focus on.